It's Tuesday, August 20. In the headlines, the Office of Utilities Regulation to probe a spike in JPS bills for August. Regionally, start of Connect Carib ferry service delayed. And in sports, new Cricket West Indies Vice President to be elected. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Office of Utilities Regulation, OUR, says it will be investigating complaints about a spike in JPS bills for August. This as scores of customers took to social media, demanding answers to what they describe as excessive increases in their electricity bills for August. In a release on Monday, the OUR says once the relevant information has been received from the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, it will be analyzed to allow them to determine what regulatory intervention is necessary. Meanwhile, in response to those concerns, the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, has sought to provide clarity about the charges in a release to the media. The Light and Power Company says, quote, "The recent increase is primarily due to a higher fuel charge and to a much lesser extent a higher billing exchange rate," end quote. According to the utility company, the fuel charge in August bills is $32.172 per kilowatt hour compared to the fuel charge of $24.335 in July bills. The bill exchange rate on bills moved up by almost $2. JPS says the fuel charge that customers see on their bills is heavily influenced by the actual costs associated with purchasing the fuel used to generate electricity for the period. The World Health Organization, WHO, recently declared the outbreak of Mpox as a public health emergency of international concern, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness says it remains on high alert for possible reintroduction of Mpox in the country. Mpox, formerly known as monkeypox, causes flu-like symptoms and skin lesions. It can also be fatal. The disease can be transmitted by contact and droplet exposure. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says he met with his technical team and the 4 regional health authorities to discuss the matter. Dr. Tufton says clinicians should report suspected cases immediately to the parish health authorities. He notes that the ministry is also gearing up to begin its public education on Mpox.
In the next coming days, we will provide the country with better details on what the precautions and the protocols are. But I'm comfortable that the team is fully alert and that we're taking the necessary steps. So stay tuned for the next few days when we'll start to advise the public on the general issues as well as coordinate our response with critical sister agencies like immigration and others.
In a recent address at the St. Matthew's Anglican Church in Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth, Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams outlined crucial areas for the Jamaica Teachers Association to focus on to stay relevant in today's changing educational environment. Minister Williams was speaking at the JTA's 60th anniversary service on Sunday, August 18. Danita Rodney tells us more.
Addressing those present at the anniversary service, Minister of Education and Youth, Mrs. Favour Williams, emphasized the importance of continually motivating and supporting teachers to ensure the delivery of high-quality education and encourage the association to continue providing valuable input in crucial areas.
The JTA can remain relevant. I say to you, continue to ensure that teachers are motivated and supported, which in turn enhances the quality of education. Continue to provide input on curriculum development, assessment practices, teacher certification, and other key areas, ensuring that the voices of teachers are considered in decision-making processes. Continue to insist on continuous professional development opportunities for teachers, which will help teachers stay current with educational trends, new technologies, and effective teaching methodologies.
The minister urged the JTA to stay adaptable and forward-thinking and urged the association to strengthen ties with local and international educational organizations to enhance Jamaica's involvement in global education discussions.
The JTA can remain relevant by continuing to promote ethical standards within the profession, helping to maintain the integrity and respectability of teaching as a career. It can continue to strengthen bonds with local and international educational organizations, ensuring that Jamaican educators are part of the global conversation on education. This engagement will help to bring new ideas, resources, and best practices to Jamaica's education system.
Additionally, she encouraged the JTA to invest in research on teaching effectiveness, student outcomes, and the policy impacts.
The JTA can also remain relevant by continuing and increasing its participation in international fora, which will also allow the JTA to advocate for Jamaica's educational interest on a broader stage. And you can remain relevant by continuing and increasing and commissioning research on various aspects of education, such as teaching effectiveness, student outcomes, and policy impact. The research will help to inform your own advocacy efforts and ensure that what you do remains grounded in evidence.
The JTA's 60th anniversary is themed Preserving the Legacy, Remaining Relevant for the Future. A 3-day conference is being held at Ocean Coral Spring in Trelawney from August 19 to August 21, where educators will discuss key issues shaping Jamaica's education system. Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I am Danita Rodney.
The National Water Commission, NWC's customers in some sections of Port Moore, St. Catherine, should prepare for disruption to their water supply from 11 p.m. Wednesday, August 21 to 12 p.m. Friday, August 23. According to a press release from the NWC, the affected areas will include Christian Gardens, Port Moore Villas, Gregory Park, Cedar Grove, Waterford, Port Henderson, Edgewater, Cumberland, Newlands, Nagohead, Bridgeport, Mount Royal, Fort Augusta, Southborough, Hellshire, and surrounding areas. Customers will experience low water pressure or intermittent supply disruption and are encouraged to store water for use during the period. In the interim, trucked water will be provided to the affected areas. The NWC says this disruption is necessary to facilitate the urgent installation of a flow meter and other network activities on the 20-inch transmission pipeline along the Grange Lane thoroughfare. The workers are expected to have minimal impact on traffic flow. However, motorists are advised to proceed with caution. In the business report, NCB Financial Group Limited has declared a dividend of 50 cents per share, payable on September 16, 2024, to shareholders on record as at September 2, 2024. The ex-dividend date is September 2, 2024. Jamaican-based regional investment group Proven subsidiary, Proven Properties, is focused on completing two major development projects, Soul Harbor in Ocho Rios and Bahari in Runaway Bay, Jamaica. Both of these developments are expected to be finished in the 2025-2026 financial year. The division is also expanding its industrial real estate portfolio with the Ashgo warehouses in Grand Cayman and planned Kingston Gateway warehouses in Jamaica. Over to Denise Williams for the movements on Jamaica's stock exchange.
During the trading period for August 19, 2024, the following companies represent the top three most active stocks that investors bought and sold on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Private equity firm MFS Capital Partners Limited with 84,815,118 units represented 83.7% of the market value in terms of sales. Online education platform EduFocal Limited with 4,517,073 units represented 4.46% of the market value in terms of sales. Alternative energy provider Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with 1,819,754 units represented 1.80% of the market value in terms of sales. Moving from the money moves of investors, executives, and companies on the stock market, we turn to the Forex market. On August 19, 2024, the Bank of Jamaica reported that US $58.38 million was bought from Forex traders, while US $49.97 million was sold to Forex traders. Buying directly from the Bank of Jamaica, foreign currency traders sold the US dollar for $157.99 and bought the US dollar for $156.14. The difference between the buy and sell rate was $1.85, which represents a profit for Forex traders for every US dollar traded. Canadian Forex traders earned a trading profit of $4.95 from transactions with the Bank of Jamaica. The Canadian dollar was sold for $116.24 and bought for $111.29. For traders looking at the British pound, they pocketed a profit of $4.90, selling it for $201.64 and buying it for $196.74. For the credit report tip of the day, we look at bundling your auto loan and mortgage if you're in the market to buy with your bank, which can be a smart financial strategy which offers benefits such as lower interest rates, simplified payments, and maybe perks depending on your bank. However, your credit score plays a crucial role in determining the success and advantages of such bundling. So with a solid credit score, you can consolidate your loans under one institution, simplifying your payment process. This reduces the hassle of managing multiple due dates and payments and making your financial life much more manageable.
In regional news, the launch of the regional ferry service based in Barbados, operated by Connect Carib, has been delayed by a few months and is now expected to be operational by the end of the year. That's the word from Vice President of Operations Richard Alain. President and CEO Ambassador Dr. Andre Thomas says the service is anticipated to employ nearly 200 people.
There is a lot of work that needs to be done and actually is ongoing at this time, and we are looking at we moved it back a little and we're saying the last quarter, but we're actually looking to start operations around the end of November. Bearing in mind, as I said, that there's a lot of work to be done, but there is a lot of work that is already being done, so we're working towards that startup certainly by the end of the year.
In the first phase, we'll have to employ about 185 people. In fact, just the cruise ferry would need about 85 people to operate the cruise ferry. Our actual head office here would have at least about 50 to 60 people, and then the cargo ships as well. So in phase one, you're looking about 185 staff in phase one, and then we'll then grow with the other phases because we intend to grow and in total cover 21 countries.
In Trinidad and Tobago, registered Venezuelan migrants can now apply to enroll their children in primary and secondary schools. During a ceremony hosted by the Ministry of Education on Monday, 23 migrant students received their exemption letters for placement. Jason John reports.
The Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the Ministry of National Security, have successfully sought an amendment to the Immigration Act No. 2 Regulation of 2024, granting Venezuelan migrants the ability to enroll in local primary and secondary schools. At a ceremony to distribute admission letters to migrant students, Line Minister Dr. Nian Gatsby-Dolly said there will be challenges during the integration of children into schools. She is calling on teachers and principals to welcome these children and work through the challenges that may present themselves to ensure the best results.
I want to encourage the parents of the nationals who are attending these schools to encourage your children, speak to your children. Our watchwords are discipline, tolerance, and production. Tolerance. We are an island that is renowned for our tolerance and our ability to integrate different personalities, ethnicities, and practices into our national psyche.
According to National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines, his ministry has embarked on a number of initiatives having identified the potential for sustainable human and economic development.
We recognize that migration can bring significant benefits, enriching our communities with diverse skills and cultures and perspectives. However, it also poses challenges, including the management of irregular migration, safeguarding our national borders, and addressing the needs of persons who are clearly, by their presence here, in need of our protection.
Chief Executive Officer of the Catholic Education Board of Management, Sharon Mangru, said a range of activities were provided by various stakeholders to support the entry of Spanish-speaking migrant children into the local school system.
From July the 12th to August 24th in 2021, the University of the West Indies, in collaboration with the Pan American Development Foundation, PADF, conducted training for over 93 teachers in a methodology for teaching where English is not the first language.
23 migrant students were presented with their letters at the Ministry of Education and have been placed in schools. Jason John, TTT News.
Grenada has become the first country in the world to use a so-called hurricane clause in a government bond. This special feature allows authorities to postpone debt payments in the wake of a major natural disaster.
Grenada made history in 2015 by introducing the Natural Disaster Clause in its debt agreements, and now the country has triggered it for the first time. The Ministry of Finance recently notified international bondholders that Grenada had elected to make a deferral claim as a result of Hurricane Beryl. The hurricane caused a moderate loss exceeding $30 million. As a result, Grenada will defer upcoming bond payments due on November 12 and May 12, 2025, totaling over $12.5 million. Instead, these payments will be added to the $112 million bonds subsequent lump sum payments, extending until the bond's term ends in 2030. Mike Sylvester, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, highlighted the importance of the Hurricane Clause, which was introduced after the country endured 2 debt restructurings within a decade following the devastation of Hurricane Ivan in 2004.
And what we have been trying to do since 2015 is to try to get as many of those into our debt instruments as possible. Now, what a hurricane clause does is allow you some breathing space to be able to recover in the aftermath of a hurricane or some disaster or so.
However, he emphasized that certain conditions must be met for Grenada to activate this clause.
And so one of them, of course, is a payout from CRIF And of course, you would recall that Grenada received a payout from CRIF 14 days after the passage of Hurricane Beryl on July 1st. So in and between there, we received the payout of $44 million. And then, of course, we have had a period of 4 weeks within which we have to make trigger the clause if we opted to do so. And so the government has taken the decision to do exactly that.
With climate change increasing the frequency and intensity of storms, clauses like these are expected to become more prevalent. As Grenada continues to recover from the impact of Hurricane Beryl, the government is currently assessing the damage and losses incurred.
The damage and loss is expected to be quite extensive. The CRIF model loss already placed that above 100 million US. So again, that in a sense is quite significant in the scheme of things. But those are some of the things that we are actually sort of working through to be able to respond. We have government also taken a decision, for example, to invoke the suspension clause of the Fiscal Resilience Act. And so that is something that you will see also a very short that will allow government to be able to facilitate and increase its spending in the wake of Hurricane Beryl. And so you also have the supplementary estimates going to Parliament very shortly as well.
In addition to the hurricane clause, Sylvester mentioned that other financial tools are available to support the government's recovery efforts.
We have the contingency provision as part of the NTF resources. That is also another tool that we have. We have the catastrophe default drawdown option with the World Bank, also another tool that we can deploy. And so, in a sense, we sort of looking at what are the best possible options available to us to be able to deal with that particular issue.
These mechanisms are part of government's broader strategy to ensure Grenada is better equipped to handle future natural disasters. For GBN News, I'm Nisha Paul.
In sports, Cricket West Indies has now formally decided to elect a new vice president. This comes after many weeks of unsettled waters between the regional body and the Guyana Cricket Board. Here's a breakdown of what transpired.
At the March 2023 AGM of Cricket West Indies, Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board's president, Azim Basarath, was declared the holder of the vice president of CWI post. However, this came with some issues. The Guyana Cricket Board was one of the full members who nominated Basarath for the post. However, the GCB had revoked their nomination, but after the nomination period came to a close. According to the GCB, this resulted from information coming to them on allegations of misconduct at the TTCB. On October 4, 2023, the GCB posted a letter to Cricket West Indies President Dr. Kishore Shallow outlining that it made clear its position that it had withdrawn the nomination of Basarath for the post. They also outlined that the process was allowed to continue, which according to them was deemed illegal. Cricket West Indies acknowledged the receipt of a letter from the Guyana Cricket Board asking them to put the interests of cricket above all others. Now fast forward to April 2024. The Guyana Cricket Board began the process of legal action against the Cricket West Indies and its vice president in relation to the CWI elections held on March 25, 2023. Subsequently, on August 5, 2024, the High Court of Guyana ruled in favour of the Guyana Cricket Board and declared Azim Basarath's election as vice president of the Cricket West Indies null and void. In an immediate response to the ruling on August 5th, CWI, headed by President Dr. Kishore Shallow, decided to appeal the decision. However, in a news release dated August 19, 2024, posted to the Cricket West Indies website at 1:59 p.m. Eastern Caribbean Time, Cricket West Indies will hold elections for the office of the Vice President on September 20, 2024. On Tuesday, August 8, 2024, at a Board of Directors meeting, in consideration of the recent judicial pronouncement from the High Court of Guyana, the decision was made to have the re-elections as soon as possible. The decision means that Azim Basarath has vacated the office of Vice President for CWI. An extraordinary general meeting will be convened on September 20th, 2024, with the sole purpose of electing a new Vice President.
West Indies have announced a 15-member T20 squad to face South Africa in the 3-match series. scheduled to take place from August 23 to August 27 in Trinidad. Terry Andrew reports.
Rovman Powell will lead a strong West Indies outfit against South Africa in the three-match T20 International Series that begins in Trinidad from August 24th. After a 1-0 loss to South Africa in the ICC World Test Championship Series, West Indies will aim to continue their good run in T20 Internationals as they take on the Proteas. West Indies have won 4 of their last 5 bilateral T20 International Series and missed out on a place in the semi-final of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup at home after losing to South Africa. In the squad are Captain Rovman Powell, Vice-Captain Roston Chase, Alec Athenaze, Johnson Charles, Matthew Ford, Shimron Hitmeyer, Fabian Allen, Shea Hope, Akil Hossain, Shamar Joseph, Obed McCoy, Gudakesh Muti, Nicholas Paran, Sherfane Rutherford and Romario Shepherd. Director of Cricket at CWI, Miles Bascom, noted that facing a strong South African side is an excellent opportunity for West Indies to reset and refocus with our game plan. Bascom added that this should be an exciting and important series. He's confident in the squad selected, with eyes already on the next T20 World Cup in 2026. The squad is notably without senior all-rounders Andre Russell and Jason Holder. While Russell requested a period of rest and recovery, Holder has been rested following 5 back-to-back tests against England and South Africa. Terry Andrew, ABS Sports.
Barbados retained their Carifta title with 207 points, overcoming a strong challenge from Bermuda, who finished second with 180 points.
The aquathlon involves 2 events rather than 3 as in the triathlon, and the 2 are a swim and a run. No cycling. The boys were first into the sea off the mighty Grenada Highway, followed by the girls a few minutes later. A group of guys were all timed at 6 minutes 44.15 seconds for the 1,000-meter swim, including yesterday's triathlon 16-19 age group winner Finn Armstrong of Barbados, along with teammate Luke McIntyre. In the girls, the general time for the swim was 6 minutes 15.51 seconds, but leading the pack was Nina James of Grenada and Erin Pritchard of the Bahamas. But close behind was the triathlon champ Isis Gaskin of Barbados. Fast forward, and look who has back-to-back gold medals. Armstrong completing the 5K run in 7 minutes 16.46 seconds for an overall winning time of 32 minutes 31 seconds. Second today, after being fourth yesterday, was McIntyre. His run was clocked at 7 minutes 17.02 seconds for an overall time of 32 minutes 47 seconds. Third was Lonnie Duncombe of the Bahamas, more than 2 minutes behind the Bajan duo. His run came back in 7 minutes 18.18 for his overall aquathlon time to be 34 minutes 3 seconds. Now first in the girls was another repeat champion in Gaskin of Barbados. The splits for the girls' run weren't available up to news time, but that's 10 more points for Team Barbados, while James of Grenada finished second. Amelia Rajak of Trinidad finished third.
That's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thank you so much for watching.